Hey, good morning everybody. Today we are at a local woodland. It's called Deerwood Arboretum. I had to look up what arboretum means. It's a botanical area dedicated to trees. And this place is actually really cool. There are little signs on a lot of the trees telling you what they are. And there's a huge variety of them out here. The reason I came here today instead of trying to find a waterfall is for two reasons. One, we've had no rain, so the rivers are all dried up, and so I didn't want to drive an hour and a half, 2 hours to try to find one of these waterfalls when there probably isn't even any water coming over. And the other reason is because last week I stubbed the pinky toe on my right foot really hard, and actually I thought I broke it, but I don't think that I did. I just bruised it really bad. So I'm trying to let that heal up, and this local park has a paved trail. I feel like that would be a lot easier on my toe than hiking through the rough trails trying to find a waterfall. Looking online, and I found a picture of a small pond that has a bunch of water lilies surrounding it. And I got here and it looks like the pond is pretty much dried up, but that's okay. We're gonna look around, see if we could find some other compositions, maybe some woodland, see if we could maybe find some trees to photograph, but let's take a look around, see what we can find. I don't know what these little seed pod things are called, but they look really cool. Alright, so I think I'm going to get the macro lens out and start looking for some macro shots. There's no water in the pond. I think most of the interest is going to be found by getting really close and looking really close. So let's see what we can find. Alright, so I'm using the 100mm macro. I've zoomed in extremely close, and I'm kind of going just for an artistic shot here. The whole seed pod itself kind of looks strange, but when you get really close to it, it's really cool looking. It's ISO 100 at 2.8, 100mm macro. Let's see what we can get. So there are a couple of, well, there's a lot of dried up and brown ones, and I'm going to try to find a composition. I'm going to try to compose an image with some of these dead ones in it, because they look really cool, and it is getting close to Halloween, so maybe it can have a bit of a spooky look to it. Alright, so I have to switch out tripods because the one that I usually record with gets a lot taller than the one that I usually photograph with, because I took out the center piece. I found a really cool, it's a dead seed pod. So what I like about this one is that the seed pod itself is brown, but the seeds on the inside have that blue hue to them. So I'm going to try and get in there and get a little macro shot of them. Another composition I think I like, and I know it's two of the dead seed pods, and they're hanging over where it looks like what happens is that they hang over and then they drop their seeds on the ground, but they're both dead, and they look pretty cool. So I'm going to photograph that and let me know what you think. So apparently there's a small stream that runs along this trail, but I think it's called the Harpeth River, or Harpeth something. And what's really neat is, if you can see this, is how these really cool root systems get exposed along the riverbank. I'm going to look around. Look at this one. Which is really cool. I'm gonna look around and see if I can find a composition. I mean, look at that. Alright, I found another composition, and because the water is so still and calm, we're getting these really cool reflections of the trees from along the bank. And as you can see here, this tree is reflected down here into the water. And so I framed it up to where the majority, 2/3 of this shot is actually the reflection of the tree down here, and then the top third is the bank and the trunk of that tree. So mostly capturing the reflection. I'm shooting it at f8 and ISO 100. It's giving me an 1/8 of a second shutter speed. I think it looks pretty cool. So the ground is really sandy and unsteady, so the tripod is kind of sinking in. So I have to continuously readjust it and then fire off a shot as quick as possible before it starts to sink again, hoping to get, you know, a relatively sharp image, because again, I'm taking all of these into post-processing. They're going to be heavily edited. They're going to be more on the artistic side. So I guess text sharpness isn't necessarily the most important thing, but it definitely is nice.